Can your RV kill you?
A new protection standard can eliminate a shock hazard that's not uncommon. And we speak with RV electricity expert Mike Sokol about what this is and how you can be safe.
We also have a gadget that we kind of like, and we might make some people mad when we use it.
This electrifying discussion can be found at our home on the web, along with deals, discounts, helpful tips, our weekly podcast, and more.
Don't forget to like and share, and thank you for joining us for episode 330.
Stressless Camping. I'm Tony.
I'm Peggy.
And we're two RV industry veterans who travel part-time
In a Rockwood Mini Light.
looking to share big adventures and help you with great tips,
Tricks.
and discounts.
I think it's been a minute since you've seen this scene. We haven't recorded in the office in a while.
No, that's true. These mics I had to dust off.
Even when we came home, I think we kept going out to the camper to record.
Why wouldn't we?
I don't know why we aren't today. It's kind of windy. Maybe the noise.
Yeah, if you don't know, New Mexico, especially where we are, is the desert. Forget Chicago being the windy city. It is. We should put up a wind turbine here because it is windy.
It is.
But that's okay.
So today we are going to speak to Mike Sokol again. That's not again in a bad way. That's again in a good way.
Yeah.
Mike is great to talk to and help us explain. And honestly, I think I understand things that he talked about today better than I do most of the time when he and Tony have conversations. We just wanted to share Mike Sokol's website with you. Maybe this will be a QR code right here. Website in the show notes. Mike Sokol, what is his website?
It's RV Electricity.
RVelectricity.com.
And it's a brand new website. And this week, somebody asked Mike, can I use the electric brakes on my travel trailer as like kind of extra chocks, right? You know, you pull that little pin and it activates your brakes and it's like an electric chock, sort of kind of. But the answer is no. Don't do that. And Mike even showed how that brake, the little pin box that has melted because somebody did that.
Gosh.
That's no good.
Because that's for like a quick emergency brake. It's not for staying on a long time.
Right. Yeah. It's basically to stop your trailer if it somehow becomes disconnected from the truck.
Never occurred to me to use it as a chock.
Yeah. I've thought about it. I'm like, wouldn't that be cool? And I know there are a few RVs here in the US that have mechanical brakes that you can set as a chock, including like Ember's Touring Edition, Ember's Overland Edition, and a few other beast mode trailers with the Curt independent suspension.
But those really aren't electronic,
No,
right?
that's
Those
a
are like a
mechanical-
mechanical thing that you jam up against the tire.
Yeah, and remember Christopher from Ember, Christopher Barth, who's one of the founders of Ember, said they have replaced a few of those because people forgot to release them.
Whoops.
Oopsie. Yeah. Checklists make for stressless camping.
Okay, well, this week we are talking about electricity, which you probably guessed by the fact that Mike Sokol is a guest. We're either talking about electricity or beer, probably both.
Yeah.
And this week we're going to talk about hot skins and how the RV industry has come around to making sure that they don't kill us.
Yeah. We should go.
Right.
We are.
You're not Bo. You mean we should start. Okay.
We have the privilege of a repeat offender joining us, a man who has been on several podcast episodes, on our live streams, and just a fun guy to hang out with and drink some beers. The world famous RV electricity expert, Mr. Mike Sokol.
Howdy, everybody.
Mike, you have been involved in a project to keep our RVs from killing us.
Yeah.
Indeed, I have. I started working on the general ideas of this about 15 years ago when I first started writing for the RV world. And this is to help prevent something that's called hot skin voltage. But this really got fired up about 3 or 4 years ago when it was codified by the NEC and is going to go into effect the end of sometimes perhaps third quarter of 2026.
Okay. Couple things right off. What's NEC?
I was going to try to think something pithy, but it's actually National Electrical Code.
Okay. And what's hot skin?
Okay, so a hot skin, it's the only the RV industry calls it that. Everybody else, well, it can mean a very different thing. But the other industries would call it a step voltage or a contact voltage. All it means is that the skin of your RV and the chassis and all the other metal parts have an elevated voltage, an AC voltage, something above earth ground, which could mean if you contact it while you're standing on the dirt, wet dirt, you can get shocked or electrocuted.
While you're grounded.
While you are grounded, yes.
You now become the conductor of that power.
You are exactly right. You become the conductor to Earth. That electricity is looking to go somewhere, and if you get in the middle of it, it goes through you.
That's no good. And it's not uncommon. And I think some people might think, oh, this is just if you have an aluminum skinned RV or an older RV. And in some cases with this, it's not your RV at all, sort of, kind of.
Exactly. It can be your RV, but in many cases, it's the pedestal, how it's wired. It can be a break in your shore power connection, dog bone adapter, or whatever. And this can create a hazardous condition you may not even know exists if you're standing on dry ground. But then if it rains and you step up and touch your RV while standing on wet ground and wet shoes, then you can get a shock. So a lot of people feel little shocks and they say, oh, that's no big deal, until it gets wet and rains, and then it becomes a very big deal.
So to make sure that I understand, so basically there's kind of a current of your RV has a current to it, if you have this condition, and you don't know it if you don't touch it, and you don't know it if you're inside because it's on the outside, where the metal is, and you're not grounded if you're inside.
Correct.
But once you become grounded and you touch the outside and that current is running through the RV, all those things happen, and that's hot skin, and that's where the danger lies.
That's when you get a fault current through you. You're exactly right. And some people think that it's only on metal RVs, but virtually everything that's metal on your RV, your trailer tongue, your wheels, your propane tank, your bumpers, your tow vehicle that's hooked to it, all of those things are tied together. So if you get a hot skin voltage on one thing, then it appears everywhere.
And something you and I talked about, let's say somewhere 3 sites over, something happens to the pedestal or the RV, that can actually come in and shock you.
Yeah, it's something I have to come up with the names for these things because a lot of the industry doesn't realize they exist. It's something I call a reflected hot skin condition. And so that's when a campground has a miswiring problem on their pedestals. And, you have a loop of pedestals, typically like 6 of these that are kind of daisy chained together. And if it loses the ground connection of that loop back to the main circuit breaker panel, the big panel with all the circuit breaker things in it, anything that happens on one of the RVs there happens on all of the RVs. So somebody could have developed a hot skin 2 or 3 or 4 pedestals away from you. It ends up on your RV.
Now, something that fascinated me as we started talking about this, if you have an EMS or surge suppressor, it will not prevent this.
Yeah. There's the tricky thing. So how they work, and I have in my little FunkWorks lab here, located on Funkstown Hill in Funkstown, Maryland. I've tested all of these things. And so what they do is they sit there and look for a voltage. If you have a fancy surge protector, right? It can go in, or like an EMS or an extended one, it can say, oops, there's a voltage happening on the ground. And then it can say, I'm going to just shut off power to myself. But it can't shut off the voltage coming in from the other ground, from the outside ground. They're not allowed to do that. So what happens is your power just goes off in your RV, and then, but your skin is still hot of your RV. That's like the really kind of scary thing.
So it essentially turns off the wiring system in your RV, but it still doesn't
It's got a
stop
big
the
relay
actual
contact.
power.
It shuts the power off going into your RV, but it cannot shut off that outside, that external hot skin voltage.
So the ground plug, it shuts off the hot and neutral, but not the ground.
Correct.
So if you think about this on your electrical system, when you plug in, there's 3 prongs, right? There's the 2 blades. If you're
30 amp.
2 blades and then a round
Ground
post.
pin, yes.
And what a surge suppressor shuts off are those 2 blades, but not that ground. So you're still connected.
You're connected.
Sort of.
Now, if the campground is wired properly, everything's okay. And I've seen campgrounds, they say, well, somebody up the, 2 pedestals over or whatever, they had a busted water heater element, which can be one source of this ground fault current. And let's say that none of your RVs, if that break in the wire from that loop is broken going over to the pedestal, going over to the main circuit breaker panel, that 80 or 100 volts appearing on the one RV now becomes all 5 or 6 of your RVs right there now have exactly the same voltage. They are grounded together, but not grounded to ground. How's that?
Interesting. And so the RV industry is riding in on their big white horse to save us coming up, sort of, kind of.
It is coming up, and I've been aware of this for a very long time. I have access to all of the diagrams and the listings and the codifications and all the bits and pieces of it. So I know exactly how these things are supposed to work and what they do and what they don't do.
So what is coming late 2026?
Okay, they call it a GMI for grounding monitor interrupter. Blah. So it really does 3 things. First off, it's a grounding thing. So what it makes sure that your RV is connected to the main service panel's ground bus. That is the neutral ground bond. And then the second thing it does, it monitors it constantly to look for a failure, a break in the wiring, loose connections, any of the other things. And then guess what the interrupter thing does? Interrupts that incoming fault problem, right? And the newest ones have the ability to disconnect the ground as well as the hot and the neutral. So that's what they call a level 2 GMI. So what it can do is completely isolate your RV from whatever you've plugged it into.
Now, did you say a little while ago that current EMS systems are not allowed to break that ground?
That's correct. But I think there's been some. Say why? Well, because, okay, so here's the thing. Grounds are considered to be so important that they don't want to have a contact or anything in the middle of it. I mean, they just run the wire through. So, and so the newest one, what it does, there's a timing thing. It needs to have a separate contact. So when you plug in, the first thing it does, if it decides it's going to have power, is it turns on the ground first, and then it turns on the AC power. And then when you disconnect, turn it off, it turns off the power first, and then it disconnects that. Think of it like a British plug board power plug, if any of you guys are familiar with UK power. The ground pin's longer first, and all of them are. The ground pin is longer, so when you start pushing it into the receptacle, what's the first thing that touches? The ground pin, and then the other pins touch. And the reverse of that happens when you pull out. So there's some time, it's got some timing issues and such, but up to this point, none of the surge protectors out there by any of the main manufacturers have had the ability to disconnect the ground wire because nobody thought it was necessary.
Yeah, and that was by code too, correct?
Correct.
They weren't allowed to.
They weren't allowed to do that. So in the same way, you cannot have a circuit breaker or a fuse on a ground or neutral for the same kind of reasons. It used to be in the theaters. Going back into the early 1900s, they would put fuses on the neutral buses because, Edison wanted to protect his precious copper wires. But then when that fuse would blow, then you had lighting people in theaters being electrocuted. Seriously, this
I don't know why I laughed at that. But
I know. Stop, Tony, stop.
The ground won't be interrupted. Currently, the ground doesn't get interrupted so that there's not an accidental interruption of ground, but not interruption of other power. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay,
That was the theory up to this point. But again, if you have a failed ground wire or any place else, let's say that you have a hot ground coming in from the outside, the earlier EMSs could not disconnect you from the hot ground. So your power would go off, your AC 120 volts coming in, but now the chassis of your RV would be sitting there at 120 volts.
No, that was not good.
No. I've seen it. I've had people email me about it, and I said, well, it should be obvious. And they look at me like, what? And I'm going, well, I know how they're wired.
And so basically, this new gadget, the GMI, is going to be installed on all 2020, probably it'll be 2027 model year, right? I mean,
they say that it's supposed to come in. Okay, so I believe the NEC, National Electrical Code, comes in at end of June, I think, of 2026. Will be every 3 years there's a new edition, right? So it's supposed to be like the end of June. End of June is when it's supposed to go into compliance, but they have like a 3-month kind of grace period. It's supposed to be in by fourth quarter, sometime between third and fourth quarter of 2026. All new RVs built in the United States will be required to have this GMI unit built into them.
Okay, and so this will always be a separate thing from the EMS.
Completely different. Now, it can have a lot of the same functionality of an EMS. So it's okay for it to include reverse polarity and high and low voltage things, but that's not its main requirement. It just depends on the particular model that you've got.
This will be installed physically in the RVs.
Correct.
So it's not something you can, unless you get in there and physically remove it, it's not something you can disable, nor should you.
No.
Correct. Yeah, it's not going to be easily disabled. You'd have to be yanking boxes out and changing all kinds of stuff around. So it's not supposed to be easily disabled. Correct.
And that's why it's not just going to be a new style of plug-in EMS.
Exactly.
That relies on the user to use it properly, because I know a lot of users don't use an EMS at all.
Yeah, they don't. And there will probably be aftermarket ones. I know I know people are probably working on these things, that you can buy one for your earlier trailer if you want, that would plug into the pedestal, which would do this stuff. But right now, the main thing we're focused on is getting these units installed in the new 2026 versions, unless there's been another pushback on the date, or we'll see.
I'm a fan of the RV industry and an advocate, but they do like to push back on safety regulations.
Yeah, this is all supposed to be in place right now, but it's been pushed back by a year.
Oh boy. Well, that's no comment.
Yeah, no comment. But that's just how it works. You know that.
Yep.
So currently there's no plan to force every RV owner to take your RV in and get one of these put in retroactively.
Right. There's no retrofit stuff at all required. But, and now what has happened, though, there's been kind of a lot of confusion from all the variety of press releases saying exactly where these are going to be installed. So a number of them have incorrectly posted that these are going to be installed in campground pedestals. And they're not installed in pedestals. That was, from what I can determine, a number of the big media outlets had created press releases using AI.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it might be artificial, but it's not very intelligent.
Yeah, everything exactly backwards. And they said they were going to be in all of the pedestals. I'm calling up my guys and saying, whoa, that's not what's happening. But it's still it's still, the stuff is still floating around. And now AI has gotten a hold of it, and it says, oh, now they're saying, well, it can also be in both the pedestals and the RVs. I've got, no. This is only in the RVs. Now, what it does mean is the pedestals have to be properly wired per code going back 20 odd years, maybe longer. It's got to have a proper ground. It's got to be proper polarity. And you know, what the GMI does is actually tests the ground impedance itself. So it works kind of backwards of what a GFCI does. A GFCI looks for an imbalance in leakage current. It waits for you to start getting shocked, and then it disconnects you. That's how a GFCI works. This does it proactively and tests it before you get shocked.
That sounds good.
Did you know you can actually get shocked off a GFCI? I've done it.
Oh, man.
Just putting it out there.
You're paid to explode and blow up things.
Yeah, have you done it intentionally, or it just is a thing that can happen?
Oh, no. I've done this intentionally. I've done this intentionally. And I'm very, very careful with this. It's all calculated. It's all, you know, I'm really, really careful. I do it across one hand so I don't get my heart in the middle of it. I'm really, really careful with this stuff. But it's easy to generate a tingle off of a GFCI, not trip it. And I've seen guitar players and such do this, and they don't realize that they're getting a less than 5 milliamp shock because they're plugged into an ungrounded outlet. And they say, I just need a GFCI. That'll protect me. And I go, well, yeah, but it waits for something to get shocked.
So basically, if you get one of these RVs that right now are not on the market, but will be soon, all you have to do is plug it in and this thing will be working.
Correct. As long as you plug into a properly wired receptacle in a campground or your house or whatever.
And if it is not properly wired, then the thing will basically stop electricity from coming into your RV, and there's no way around it except wire properly.
Exactly. Now, they'll give you an alert of some sort. I know some of them have a light or a beeper or an app or whatever. So there's supposed to be some sort of annunciator that tells you that there has been a ground failure. But yeah, there's no work around it. If you're plugged into a pedestal that's not properly wired, it's just not going to let your RV will not let power come in. That the GMI built inside of your RV. So it's not a pedestal decision. Right. Your RV, the GMI inside of your RV is querying the pedestal to try to find out if the power is correct or not.
Now, if you have a generator, those are not grounded. Will there be a workaround for people with generators?
You should be able to use a bonding plug that I invented. You know, that little 3-pin thing. You know, I should have patented this like 15 years ago.
You should have.
I thought everybody knew this. I think everybody knows this stuff.
You'd be so rich, you wouldn't be talking to us.
You know, I wouldn't be drinking light beer. I would be.
Oh, I see.
I'd be doing import.
Oh.
like the good stuff that you bring to the rallies. That's the stuff I want to be able to afford.
I do like good beer.
So if you get to a campground in this new RV and it has this GMI and you use your EMS for those other two legs of the power, right, and everything is fine, does everything stay fine, or can the campground have a ground problem like suddenly, you know, like a surge of some sort that causes, like you've been fine for 2 days and all of a sudden it trips?
Yes, it knows. That's the monitoring. That's the M function. So it will continuously monitor this stuff. Now, there's a really, really interesting thing that I noted and did a video about several months ago. And I knew this for 25 years working in the pro sound stuff, because I teach a lot of this for keeping musicians from getting electrocuted on stage. And that is, if you have a 3-light tester, you've seen those little guys, right?
Oh, yeah.
Plugged into your RV, and it says that you have, that first day it says, I have two amber lights and no red light, okay? It just says, you know, that did you have proper polarity? And then it looks like you have reverse polarity. And then the next day it looks like you have correct polarity. Nobody is flipping the neutral and hot wires. A incoming hot ground from reflected hot skin condition will cause those things to say that it's a reverse polarity when it is in fact a hot ground coming in. So for decades that I talked to the RV industry about this, everybody kept telling me that a reverse polarity is what causes a hot skin voltage, but that's not true. A hot skin voltage causes these meters to misread it as reverse polarity. Isn't that crazy?
Okay.
And I've got the videos to prove it.
Interesting. So if you're on, because for those who don't know, the way campgrounds are typically wired, there's a main panel and then they have legs of, could be 2 campsites, could be 20 campsites, whatever the number. So you're all sharing basically that leg with all those other RVs. And if Billy Bob Bubba comes with his trailer that has, as you mentioned earlier, like a fried electrical
heater element yes.
in their water heater.
Yes.
That's not a hot water heater.
And it's a cold water heater.
It could be that you've been camping for 3 days and all of a sudden this GMI shuts you down hard.
Okay.
It could, right. But the only way that you can get this reflected hot skin condition is if the pedestal is miswired to begin with. That whole loop is miswired, and the GMI should be able to detect that the first time you plug in. So it's proactive. It is not waiting for a voltage to happen. It is double checking to make sure the ground is acceptable. 2 different things.
Okay.
So the ground being acceptable that status doesn't change? So when
it shouldn't unless something breaks.
When you plug in immediately, that tells the answer.
Exactly. So immediately it knows this. So when you plug in, you should never have a voltage appear on your RV from somebody else's RV unless unless the campground is miswired to begin with. And that could be something like corroded terminals, somebody that's dug a shovel in and busted through a wire. I mean, campgrounds really don't follow a lot of code in many cases.
Well, how many times have we gotten to an RV park and you plug the 30 amp in and it's so loose, you have to somehow figure out how to keep it in. And that's just, that is kind of bad right there.
Loose ground right there is dangerous for you. And it will not allow, the GMI will shut down and says, I'm not going to take it. I won't take that power.
So while this is not necessarily a problem for RV parks, it's going to be a problem for RV parks, but only because you need to fix your stuff. You
need to clean up your act, realistically, and I think that's a good thing. Which is I'm working on an SOP, standard operating procedure, and basically, and a decision chart that will help campground owners get their pedestals ready for this incoming RVs. And they'd say, well, they won't be coming for a while, but they're going to be coming by the end of 2026, and by spring of 27, guess what? There's going to be, 500,000 RVs in there that have got this floating around.
Yeah, and if you get a bad reputation for having bad power, it might have a longer lasting effect than just the month that it's going to take you to fix it before it happens.
Right. It'll be self-regulating. And the key, of course, is, a lot of this is just pretty straightforward stuff. But here's the trick. You cannot use just a standard multimeter to confirm that your pedestal is going to be appropriately grounded, that a GMI will approve.
So is there going to need to be a new testing gadget?
There is, and you can get this. There are stock meters that will do this, but they are not the multimeters that you've seen. And I've been doing stuff with these specialty meters for 50 years, 50 years, since the mid-70s, since my job in the pro audio world was to get rid of hum and sound systems, a hum and buzz out of sound systems, while keeping the musicians from dying on stage. I would do this stuff all the way up to the level of Beyonce. I mean, I had all kinds of shows, and and I was always extremely cautious to make sure everything was properly grounded and bonded, and I had to get rid of hums and buzzes without creating dangerous wiring conditions.
Because, I mean, having a musician die on stage is great for your social media, but it's a hard act to repeat.
It is. And also that I found even on smaller situations, if in fact, if a performer got shocked and just putting their wet lips on the microphone while they're holding on a guitar, they could just refuse to play the show. They just walk off the stage. I have seen that happen. They didn't die on stage, but they just said, everything's wrong. Everything's wrong.
Yeah.
The key is, it's just a dangerous situation.
It really is. So
I have one more EMS question. When we use the Hughes Power Watchdog, when we plug that in and it tells us if the pedestal is giving us good power, does it not tell us that the ground is bad?
No.
Is that one of the things it looks at?
No. It tells you, is there a voltage between the ground and the neutral, but it doesn't monitor the ability of the ground wire to carry a fault current.
Okay.
And here's the other thing. Look up RPBG, reverse polarity bootleg ground. Another thing that I've had to name and discovered that was out there named. And that is when the ground wire, it doesn't exist in an outlet and somebody jumpers it. They do a bootleg ground and accidentally get the polarity reversed, which I've seen hundreds of bars, churches, carnival stages, all kinds of crazy stuff. Your RV, your skin of your RV, the chassis of your guitar amp, anything is now sitting at 120 volts connected directly to the hot wire coming in with full circuit breaker current behind it. And guess what? Everything works. Everything works.
Yeah. Oh.
Except, guess what? It will kill you.
Chris Darty was talking about that, about working on an RV at a carnival, and he reached up and touched the chassis and bzzzt.
Gosh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We all have our stories. And, once I started discussing this, I've had my contractors say, oh, yeah, I remember getting shocked on this, that, and the other thing. And I couldn't figure out why I was getting a hot ground. And they would do this in old houses and old churches where they'd only had the non-grounded outlets, and somebody just would go replace them and just put a jumper inside of their receptacle, just basically to fool the 3-light tester. I saw this happen in my dad's house. I've had it happen in my house, which is 102 years old. I found receptacles that were wired like that. I'm like, oh, brother.
I have my own little grounding story where I almost burned my own house down. Oh. Actually, I didn't really almost burn it down. I almost blew it up because it caused a pipe to leak, and that happened to be a gas line.
Oh, yeah, that would be very bad.
Oh, yeah, well, I've never seen our plumber who was a rather tan guy look so white when he saw
this
that.
This is terrifying stuff. And, and that's the key. The new GMI is going to, it's going to add something to the cost of each RV, but it shouldn't be a lot. It's probably, it's hard to say, $100, $200, something, I don't know. But what it will do is make you safer, just like GFCIs do. And if your campground is not properly wired, you're not going to get power. And this is also, if you go to plug your RV into a garage outlet, this is where a lot of people get injured. They just have their RV, they want to charge up in their batteries overnight, plugged in on an extension cord in their driveway. Without if you don't have a properly grounded extension cord, it won't allow you to charge your batteries. There was a couple of years ago, 2 bass fishermen with their aluminum bass boat were in a parking lot of a hotel, and they had just run an extension cord in to plug it into something that was not a GFCI outlet. They came out in the mornings while it had rained, and they're in a puddle, and they touched an aluminum boat, and it killed them.
Oh, geez.
It's that kind of stuff.
Well, I'm glad that you have helped us all get our RVs to quit killing us.
Yes.
I know.
I mean, this really is good.
Sometimes people in the RV industry think that I'm a doomsayer. All I'm telling you is if you feel a shock, you should stop and go figure this stuff out. The safety devices are there to help you. Think of this as kind of like, this is why do you have tire pressure monitor systems, right? Because you want to know it's proactive. It doesn't wait until your tire shreds and blows off the RV and tears everything up. It lets you know that there's a problem.
Right.
Yep, absolutely.
Just like the temperature gauge, the battery
Temperature gauge, all
the
of those
gas
things.
gauge in your car.
Yeah.
Proactive. Don't wait for the steam to come blowing out of your radiator. You want to know if it's hot or not, right? So this does the
Absolutely.
same sort of thing. I think it's a good thing. There will be some growing pains with it, just like anything else. Done properly, though, it will save lives and prevent people from, getting injured.
We applaud that. That's a
Yes,
good thing.
I think it's a great thing. Yes, it is.
We when I was in Balloon Fiesta, it's dry and staticky, and I was there with Rich Lure from Airstream Life,
Right.
and I touched the control panel on our power package on the Master Bolt system, and I got a shock, but it wasn't a shock; it was static.
Right. Static is a different thing. Yes.
And he was like, oh my gosh, because he had just written about this GMI system and he freaked out. He's like, let me go get my meter. And I'm like, no, dude, it's just static. Trust me. We were not plugged into anything.
Let me tell you a brief static story. Okay. I had one of the guys I was working with, he had a jug of water, a plastic jug of water on the floor of his car. And it was sliding around on the carpet. And when he would go in and take a sip out of it, it shocked him on the tongue.
Oh.
And how is that?
Electrified water.
If you take a piece of plastic and you rub it on carpet, what does it do?
Creates
static electricity. So now inside of it, now you have an insulated surface and you've got a bunch of water in there. You've created what's called a Leyden jar. It's a capacitor. So it stored the charge, which then he picked up with his feet on the carpet. When he tipped it back, it shocked him on the tongue.
Oh.
And he kept saying, how is that possible? And I said, oh, I know exactly how that happened. This is fascinating. Go do it again.
You know what's not funny, except a little bit, is when we had dogs and carpet and they would create static electricity and then they'd come and smell you and it would shock their nose.
Yeah, shock your
That's
nose.
terrible.
Oh, the nose is very sensitive on a dog. And by the way, your own tongue is too. This is why we do 9-volt batteries on our tongue to make sure that they're good or not. But it's not going to kill you. It just as a tingle. But it takes surprisingly little voltage to get your attention.
Yes.
Thank you so much for explaining all this. It's always a good thing when there's a conversation with Mike Sokol and Peggy goes away feeling like maybe she understood the conversation.
Oh yeah, no.
This
It's straightforward. That's one of the things. If you just start reading all of the press releases or reading books on it, it's really hard to cut through all the engineering jargon. I tell everybody I am just a simple man who has to do really, really complicated things.
So thank you for helping me understand it. I feel like if I understand it, most of the listeners out there are going to understand it. And so thank you for helping the RV industry develop this and letting us know how it's going to work and when it's coming. And as always, thanks for joining us. And now, what was that thing you said about beer?
Every 1,000 views that you get on this, Tony and I are going to have to chug a beer.
Okay.
I like it. All right. Oh man, let's hope this sets a new record.
That'll be another video.
Let's hope. All right. Very good.
All right. Were you all charged up about that?
Uh-oh.
Was it an electrifying conversation?
Okay. Oh, that's it? Only 2?
That's all I could think of right now, but I'm sure I'll think of more.
I'm sure you will.
Ooh, I almost just busted out my teeth.
Whoa, don't do that. So we learned a lot, and that's terrific. And like I said before, I think I understand things better than I normally do when Tony and Mike talk. That electrical stuff really, there's a lot to know.
And you know what? I don't even scratch the surface of what Mike
Oh,
knows.
for sure. Yeah.
Mike he's a smart guy.
Yeah. So what I said to Tony after we talked to Mike is, now I'm a little bit afraid of RV park pedestals. So it's a darn good thing that we have our own power.
Well, yeah, that's true. We have our Master Volt power system that was installed by ABC Upfitters. And there's a lot of things that can do, the obvious thing is we have all this lithium power and all these solar panels, so we could camp off the grid. But for example, let's say you go to Uncle Fester's house and all Uncle Fester has is a regular household plug, a 20 amp, well, supposedly 20 amp, they're usually not, a regular household plug in the garage, and you want to stay there. The Mastervolt system will let you dial down how much power the trailer pulls from the wall so that you can use that to kind of as supplemental power, but then use the battery in your trailer as your main power source. So that's one of the many things that Mastervolt system can do. You can chill the fridge overnight before you leave. You can run the air conditioner before you get to the campground, which is something we've been known to do.
Yes.
So not only is it the obvious thing, yeah, you can camp off the grid and it works great, but also you can kind of change some of the thinking of camping. Pull over to the rest stop, turn on the air conditioner, and be comfortable for, having lunch or whatever. So the good thing is the kind folks at ABC Upfitters who install these Mastervolt systems ask you a whole bunch of questions if you're going to think about working with them.
And the reason that they do that is not everyone wants or needs the same amount of power. Some people just want to make sure that they can cool their refrigerator overnight before they go on a trip. Some people just want to maybe boondock one night on the middle of a trip. Some people never want to use another power pedestal, not only because they're afraid of hot skin, they just don't want to.
Right. So the good thing is they'll ask you a lot of questions. They kind of configure a system that works the way you like to camp, and then it's installed properly. And talking to Mike made me really realize again, or kind of remember, how many things can go wrong in an RV when things aren't done properly. And we know so many people now who have had these Mastervolt systems put in by ABC Upfitters, and truthfully, they just work.
Right.
The wiring is proper, the connections are proper, the fuses are proper, the installation is proper. It's all done at top quality. So
it's all made to go together.
That's
it's
true.
Not like a piece from brand A and a piece from brand B and a piece from brand C. Those words were hard to say. Plugged together, and then, as we've said before, then who takes the blame when something doesn't work? Is it brand A or B or C? And they're all going to point fingers at the other. Yeah,
that's true. So anyway, if that's the kind of reliability and stressless camping that you would like to enjoy, give our friends at ABC Upfitters a shout. You can call them on the phone at 574-333-3225.
That's 574-333-3225.
Or we have a bunch of videos and interviews with them on our home on the web. You can get to know them starting there and reach out to them through links on that page. But they're good people. They do good work, and we are fully satisfied.
Absolutely.
And that's a good thing. So we have a gadget.
We do.
Last time that we had a similar gadget, some of you got mad at us.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing. People camp for the reasons that they want to camp, right?
True.
Some of those people want to camp so that they can sit outside by a campfire, or so that they can sit outside and look at the stars. Those are wonderful reasons to go camping.
Yes.
Some people like to camp in groups. And if you're with a group, and everyone in the group wants to watch a movie projected on the side of your camper,
or on a screen of some sort,
and you're not disturbing other campers, then this gadget might be a gadget that would be for you.
This is a projector that somebody sent us. It is the specifically the company is Magcubic. I believe it's Magcubic.
I say Magcubic. Now, I have to admit that for the first 400 times that I read the word, I saw Magic Cube, like, the old flash bulbs.
Oh my gosh. Oh, totally. Oh my gosh.
That's what I thought of for the first couple of months. I kept seeing Magic Cube, but it's not Magic Cube. It's Magcubic.
Yeah, Magcubic. And it's specifically the HY310X 4K mini projector.
Oh.
Now, here's the thing. So we've been...
It is pretty mini.
It is. It's very light. And when we got it, they sent it to us to try out. I opened the box and I'm like, man, that thing is light. And truthfully, if you look online, these things are under $100. And you're like, dude, what?
You don't expect
what are you
a lot
gonna get
for
for
under
$100 in a
right?
projector? Now, the good thing about under $100 projector is if you take it camping and a bear eats it, it's only $100.
Or another camper goes in a rage and comes over and smashes it against a rock.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Don't do that, by the
really
way.
inexpensive. But so my expectations were super low.
Sure.
I mean, come on. I've seen this for under even $80. So
Yeah.
it almost seems too cheap. And you know what they say, if it's too cheap, if it seems too cheap
good
to
to
be
be
what,
true,
yeah,
yeah.
whatever. Yeah, that expression. I know some of you are yelling at your radio or your phone or at us on YouTube, wherever you are.
Okay, so something to know about us. We use a projector in our home, right? The last time that someone sent us a projector,
Yeah.
we liked it and we ended up, that's our only television. We either hang some kind of a curtain, but now we happen to live in a house that has a big white wall in the living room. We just don't hang anything else on that, and that's our projector wall.
Yeah, and we also have a screen. So
We do have a
we
screen.
have taken it camping when it's appropriate.
When it's appropriate, when we were requested by a group.
Yeah, can you bring a
put a
projector?
movie on the
And we
side of
saw
our
it, by the way,
camper.
we watched the long trailer.
No, we watched RV.
Oh, you're right.
With
Yeah,
Robin
yeah,
Williams.
we did. Absolutely.
Okay, so anyway, just to let you know that we do have, a little bit of projector experience. And this projector, I mean, for $100, it seems fine. Tell us how easy it was to hook up.
Oh, you plug it in, you get it on your Wi-Fi. It's an Android device essentially, and it just
Android.
don't be a hater.
Well, the only reason I question that is we use all Apple products. So was it difficult to,
Oh gosh, no,
use
no.
an Apple product?
No, an Android
product
No, you
together?
go
Okay.
on your Wi-Fi, you hook it up to your Wi-Fi. It does, of course, it does an update, and then it works. And it's a smart TV, effectively, so you can log into your YouTube account. We have a Amazon Prime Video account. We have a Paramount Plus account, and you just log into those, and bing, bang, boom, you can be watching the stuff that you want to be watching.
So those are the ways that we watch television at home. We don't watch network TV. We don't have cable. We actually just use smart TV technology and watch things that are streaming.
Yeah, right.
Usually old shows so that we don't end up waiting for the next season.
Yeah, that's true. We like to watch shows that have wrapped. But so this has on the back, it has an HDMI input, it has a USB, and it has the power outlet. And of course, there's a wireless remote because, hello, there's a wireless remote.
Because Tony wouldn't want it if it didn't have a remote.
Right?
He loves remotes.
I do. It also does automatic keystone. And so, you project it on the wall and it shoots out a pattern and it adjusts the focus and the keystone and all that.
Keystone being like the parallelogram.
Yeah, to accommodate for different height or angles. You can project it on a ceiling or on a weird wall. It comes with an adjustable foot to adjust the angle. And it has something that I really liked. It has a standard screw hole on the bottom. And this is like a regular photographer's tripod mount. And we mounted it on a tripod. And that worked really, really well. So overall, now you when I turned it on, you immediately had an observation.
I have a couple. So The observation I had when we watched it last night was it's not as bright as our old projector.
That's true. This is 420 lumens, 420. Sorry. This 420 lumens. Our other projector, I think, is in the 900s. It's about double the brightness.
So I did notice that. And we happened to watch one television show where there's a lot of kind of dark scenes. So I was a little concerned that we weren't going to be able to see. And I mean, not that it would really turn black, but it would just be hard to understand what was happening. I didn't have too much of a problem with that, but it was a concern. The other thing that I noticed is the picture was bigger on our wall than usual. And I thought, well, maybe he has it too far away because, you know, with a projector, the farther away you go, the bigger the picture gets.
Yeah, but then you get far enough away and then it really washes out. But
well, the other thing is, even though the picture was like took up the entire wall, we couldn't possibly make it any bigger. It was 3 feet from the where we usually position it. So it's kind of almost in the middle of the room. Yeah. So this probably will be a great projector for setting down somewhere close to a camper and everyone sitting like behind it.
True.
But for our living room layout, it's not ideal.
Right. And another thing, this has, I mean, at least it has a speaker, but it just has one little speaker on it, which again is about what you expect. But it's got a single little speaker. However, there is an audio out, so you could put bigger speakers if you choose to. There's also a Bluetooth setting. I believe you can hook a Bluetooth speaker to this. I have not tried. I probably should have. But
now, you've been looking at a lot, and you've been holding it to where you could see it, and we probably should have put the camera lower. So I'm just going to do this for a minute. There's one side. There's the front. Woo! If we turned it on right now, you'd get blinded. And then the plugs on the back. This foot hinges so you can get it at whatever angle you need it to be.
Yeah, and then at the bottom of the foot is the mount for the tripod. And it's a standard screw.
And then the speaker. Oh, the speaker's here.
The speaker's
on the side.
Yeah. And it's, I mean, if you're just watching something by yourself, the speaker's fine.
Sure.
It's not, you know, you're not going to get booming sound out of a $100 projector.
Right. If you have a big group that wants to actually hear the movie, you're probably going to put a separate speaker.
Probably. Right.
So anyway, that is the not Magic Cube, but the Magcubic projector.
Oh, and there is some memory aboard. I believe you can store some content. There's a USB on the back. So I'd imagine if you had like a Fire Stick or even a USB stick, you know, like a memory stick type of thing.
With a movie on it.
Yeah,
or something.
you could watch that. So, I mean, truthfully, it is for under $100, it's a total winner.
Now, I think that probably our old age is showing, and projectors, I mean, when we first had a projector, in order to get something that was bright enough to be seen even at dusk, right, it was a big deal, a very expensive thing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, our Epson projector that we had, you know, it was that we used to use for like presentations and stuff. I think that thing cost $2,400.
Right.
And that's why I was like, come on, under $100 for a projector.
So I think we're boomerizing a little bit.
Well, it's just,
like,
you know,
wow, how can this be?
The other projector we have, which is an XGIMI, which is also it's a very similar operating system, Android operating system. I think that one, when we got it, was about $1,000. And at $1,000, I thought, that seems about right.
Sure.
That projector has, and we have a review of that projector. That projector has a battery in it that'll go about 2 hours. And it also has Harman Kardon speakers built in.
Oh, that's true.
It's surprisingly good audio for being built in a projector, but that projector is also more substantial. And truthfully, I would feel more protective of it because it's not cheap.
Right.
This, if I dropped it, it'd be like, oh man.
This is like not taking your favorite coffee mug on a camping trip, right?
Yeah.
We have ceramic coffee mugs in the camper, but they're mugs that if they get broken, we know we can easily replace or not cry too long over losing them. And that'll be the same thing with this projector. If of course we're going to be careful with it. We're not going to go
It's
play
not
keep
a
away.
football.
But if something happens to it, it's not the end of the world. And we'll get to watch a movie, RV related movie, on the side of our camper when it is appropriate.
Right. With maybe in quartzite, for example.
By the way, does this need power?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, I put it on a portable power station and dug on it. I don't remember how much power it took, but it was really efficient.
Not a lot. Okay.
No, it's 110 volt. So household current, or 120 really. So yes, you need to plug it into, household power, but you could run it off any sort of a portable power station, no problem.
Because am I right that the X-Jimmy has some kind of...
It has a battery in it.
Backup.
Yeah, a battery.
Okay. I think that covers all the bases, right?
Yeah, I mean...
All right. So when we do go in a group and project a movie on the side onto a screen, we will report back and let you know. But for now, it is a pretty good thing to carry around in the camper in case that...
Yeah, for the right circumstance.
In case that happens to come up.
You know what? I could actually see... I mean, here's a thought. Every RV nowadays, the design is so that you can watch TV and then you have to put a TV on the wall. Wouldn't it, I've seen, for example, that Coachman Arvex that we saw last week came with a projector and the back window went translucent, became a screen.
True.
Now, you can see it from the outside, so you better watch what you're watching. If it's naughty, then everyone in the campground is going to know you're watching naughty movies. But to me, that makes more sense than a TV because it's lighter. You can have a larger image. And you could hang this thing. I mean,
you could hang it upside down from the ceiling.
You can hang it from the ceiling.
Yeah.
It's designed for that.
I feel like we've seen a few RVs over the last few years that have that kind of a system. And sometimes there'll be a big picture window and then the blind will come down and the blind acts as the screen for a projector.
Yeah, I'd rather have that than a TV, but that's me because I'm weird.
And because our TV fell off the wall one time.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. The TV itself literally split in half.
Yeah, not the bracket, but the actual television
TV
broke in half.
The Rhodes, it split the TV right in half, and most of it just fell off the wall.
Whereas this would have been safely in a drawer.
Or hung off a ceiling. You never know. Anyway, that's our gadget. That's our keeping you from getting shocked. Our next thing is our question of the week. And our question last week was...
How do you handle medical situations on the road? Now, some people said call 911, and I guess I wasn't clear. I didn't really mean emergencies, but urgent emergencies. Things that you're going to be gone for 2 weeks and you really don't want that toothache to last, or that sore neck, or that rash, or that, cramp in your left foot, whatever, those kind of things was more kind of what I had in mind. So, hopefully it's very rare that you ever have to call 911.
Or never would be better.
Even at home or camping, right? But
right?
I get that it happens. But so go check out those answers. And this week, our question is going to be...
What kind of plans are you scaring up for Halloween?
Next week will be our always unpopular Halloween episode.
At least we own it.
A few people said they absolutely adore that episode. We, of course, love it. But it really is our least popular of the year.
Yeah.
And we don't care. We're going to do it anyway.
I think Christmas is.
Oh, well,
but whatever.
In preparation for Halloween, I know that some campgrounds really, really go out of their way to celebrate and do great things. Is that the kind of situation you're going to be in? Are you going to be home passing out candy? Do you shut down the lights and pretend like you're not home?
Do you have cool googly electric eye lights like
Oh,
Bill
yeah,
has
like
at
Bill
the front of his
has.
trailer? That was so cool.
So if you would especially share your pictures, because we are super Halloween fans, and I would love to see what you did with your campsite for Halloween.
Yep, and you can answer that at our fun and friendly Stressless Campers Facebook group.
That is right. You can, what? What do we do now? Oh, yeah. You can also sign up on our website, stresslesscamping.com, for our once a week free newsletter that is going to come to you once a week, because I don't have time to think of other things to say during the week. And it will remind you that the podcast episode is out. It will ask you the question, and sometimes it will offer an opportunity to win a prize or tell you where we're going to be that next coming week. In fact, we are going camping
This weekend.
tomorrow for those of you
Yeah.
watching on the day it releases. And so,
With 500 of our closest friends.
well,
Actually, really,
that's in a few weeks. This one's going to just be 6 of our closest friends.
Well, isn't there? Well, anyway.
Anyway, we're going to do a weekend at a winery this weekend, and then we're doing in a few weeks a music festival. Those are on our secret camping calendar that you can only get a link to on the newsletter. So if you want to know where we're going to be camping so that you can meet up with us, that's how you find out.
And of course, as Peggy said, once a week. Anyway, you can find the show notes for this episode 330, at the podcast page at stresslesscamping.com.
Which is also where you will find our favorite products and services for all the goods and fun things and discounts and deals and links to products like projectors that we like to use on the road.
Yep. Of course, we are wasting time along with you in all the social places, and you can find those places where we are with a link on our website, or just look up Stressless Camping wherever you like to waste your time, because we're probably there wasting ours too.
Almost certainly.
Yeah.
Okay, audio listeners, you know that you can subscribe on your favorite podcast catcher so that you don't miss any episodes of, not even the Halloween or Christmas episodes of the Stressless Camping podcast. I want to shout out real quick to Bill. Thank you again. Every week, Bill is probably the first listener because he's in New York, and he always, by the time I wake up, I have a text if I've made some kind of a boo-boo to let me know, or, if things aren't clear or whatever. And we really appreciate that feedback.
Yeah. It was great when we were in Pennsylvania and Hershey. Bill was, he was on our pass or whatever as a team member, and he truly is one. So thank you, Bill. We really appreciate the second or the third set of eyes.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're watching on video on YouTube, please please subscribe, please share anything that you see. If you like an episode on YouTube, share it on Facebook, whatever. If you see something that we've written on our website, we have a lot of articles and recipes and all kinds of other things, and we beg you to share those things on your socials or with your family or in the grocery store or wherever you like to share.
How about at the campground?
At the campground. Oh, what a good idea.
All the content on Stressless Camping there's not AI, there's not artificial intelligence. In fact, there's barely intelligence because we write everything. So there you go. So, we only write stories there and share tips that we truly believe in and that we have the facts to support and all of that. So no AI, barely even any I. So that's what we have for you this week. Once again, we really appreciate your being here. Hopefully we'll see you out there on the road. Hopefully you're not winterizing your camper.
Yeah, hope you're going camping.
Yeah. And with that, thank you for being here, and
Stressless camping.